A man was just taking a leak by the roadside, but his eye was suddenly caught by a glint from a distant rock. He brushed off the sand and realized it was actually gold. He wanted to keep it all for himself, but seeing his buddy staring in his direction, he reluctantly called Danny over to join him. They immediately took out a lighter and held the flame against the rock. It shone brighter the more they burned it. It really was gold, no doubt about it. Excited, they grabbed tools and started digging. The gold was even bigger than they imagined. Even the two strong men couldn't budge it, so they kept digging deeper into the ground. They realized it wasn't just a chunk of gold. It was an entire mountain of gold. They dug until nightfall and still hadn't reached the bottom. Knowing they would never have to work again, they shouted with pure joy and excitement to live like rich men as soon as possible. Danny suggested Jack drive to town to find an excavator. He would stay behind to guard the gold. The round trip would take at least 5 days. Danny said he was experienced in wilderness survival, but Jack insisted that he had discovered the gold, so he had to be the one to stay behind. He didn't notice Danny's dark expression. The next day, Danny took most of the water to cool the engine. He left only a small amount for Jack and a satellite phone so they could stay in touch. He told Jack to wait for him no matter what. In 5 days, they would both be rich. After Danny drove away, to avoid drawing any unwanted attention, Jack buried the gold again under the sand. He set up a simple tent next to a dead tree. To conserve his remaining energy, he ate just a few bites of canned food and went to sleep early. But the desert had huge temperature swings. The next day, he decided to gather more dry branches farther away. He accidentally found a plane wreck. It would make a pretty good shelter. It could block both the harsh sun and the blowing sand. The only downside was that he couldn't see his buried gold from that spot. So Jack tore the plane into smaller pieces. He dragged the parts back next to the gold. He built a simple shelter using the wreckage. Through the window, he could see the gold. Feeling secure, he quickly fell asleep. But the desert sun was brutally harsh. It shone through the gaps and blistered his forehead. Feeling miserable, he thought about leaving. Looking at the gold mountain before him, he chipped off a large piece with his tool, enough to live comfortably for the rest of his life. But just as he was about to leave, the satellite phone rang. It was Danny calling. He told Jack that he had found an excavator. He was already on his way back. He told Jack to guard the gold with his life. He would be there very soon. That phone call convinced Jack to abandon his plan to leave. He held on for 2 more agonizing, desperate days. His food supplies were completely gone. He had only one single bottle of water left. His sunburn was getting worse by the hour, but Danny still showed no sign of coming back. Then Jack saw a car approaching in the far distance. He wanted to run over and ask for help, but he was afraid of losing the gold. After a long internal struggle, he ultimately watched the car drive away.